Spiritual leader Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev is no stranger to controversies. He often finds himself in the limelight for one odd reason or the other. This time, the godman has been found trying to flaunt his secular credentials. The controversial Jaggi just tried to stop Hindus from reclaiming their ancient heritage. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Piyush, and if you haven't subscribed to TFI English channel yet, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates. Coming back to the story, through this video I would like the rockstar Sadhguru to know that you can't stop us from reclaiming our mandirs. Let's begin. Spiritual leader Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev has found himself in a tricky spot after his recent statements regarding the steadily growing movement of Hindus trying to reclaim their mandirs from the clutches of Islamist invaders. In an interview with India Today, Sadhguru remarked that there was no sense in talking about mandirs raised during Islamic invasions, stating that it does not make sense to talk now about thousands of mandirs that were raised during the invasions, as history cannot be rewritten. Sadhguru said,
"Thousands of temples were razed to ground during invasions. Well, we couldn't protect them then. Now, talking about all those thousands of temples doesn't make sense, because you cannot rewrite history."
He also added the two communities should sit together and work out which 2-3 sites are iconic and settle it, instead of discussing one site at a time and keeping the controversy and unnecessary enmity between communities alive. There has to be some give and take. That's the way forward for the nation. We should not be thinking in terms of Hindu community and Muslim community. The rockstar godman took the secular moral ground by stating, if we do things right at this point, India can be a significant force in the world. We should not squander that away by making everything a big dispute. I beseech people and news agencies not to make this controversial but move towards solutions. There is no dispute that can't be settled. There is pain in people's heart, so we should sit down and talk instead of arguing endlessly. People in active politics should be kept out of this because it should not become political mileage for anyone. Sadhguru may have done a lot for the cause of Hinduism and the welfare of his followers, but unfortunately, in the case of trying to reclaim our mandirs, his statements and his vision cannot be more wrong. Facts cannot care even if you are self-styled English-speaking godman having a cultish following. Sanatana Dharma is nothing but trying to uphold the Dharma by doing what is right. Hindus have endured enough in the past few hundred years at the hands of the Mughals and the Britishers to be wary of the people like Sadhguru, who wears the cloak of secularism and sermonizes Hindus instead of confronting Islamists. While Sadhguru is attempting to save soil by embarking on a gimmicky PR whirlwind world tour on his polluting motorcycle, he doesn't understand the fact that Hindus and their mandirs have been defiled, desecrated and destroyed in the past few centuries, all in an attempt to eliminate their cultural identity from the land that is Bharat. However, akin to Bharat, the Sanatana Dharma is ageless, and thus the Islamic invaders cannot realize their goals despite trying their best to stomp the Hindus and their customs. While Sadhguru passes his idealist statements, one needs to question him regarding how many mandirs have Hindus actually managed to reclaim in the past 75 years after independence. Perhaps the answer is solid 1. And that too came at a significant political and cultural cost, where the cohort of Islamist and Marxist cabal dubbed Hindus as the marauders and genocide enablers. We are yet to see the finished form of the Ram Mandir, and it has already taken decades of court cases to reach this point. Sadhguru, through his statements, has found himself in the same league of leaders who remark that instead of mandirs, why not schools or hospitals be built? The godman should understand that the wheel of development can move side by side with the wheel of trying to undo the injustices of the past. Both things can be mutually inclusive, and the current government is more than capable of multitasking on different fronts. Prominent lawyer and writer Sai Deepak took to Twitter to share his disappointment and tweeted, "With due respect, I couldn't disagree more with anyone who holds this view." Other netizens also reminded Sadhguru that the other party was not as gullible or ready to admit that mandirs were indeed razed. One of the Twitterati wrote, "First, Muslims should regret the hurt caused to Hindus by the mad and semi-barbaric Muslim rulers. They own them but disown their crimes. This can't be accepted. If they do, an ecosystem of a fair dialogue will emerge, not otherwise." This is not the first time Sadhguru has invited criticism from Hindus across the horizon for his rather crude statements. Reportedly, in April last year, a video of Sadhguru had gone viral where he made remarks on the nature of love between Bhagwan Krishna and his foster mother Yashoda. Sadhguru was heard saying,
So Yashoda's relationship with Krishna grew, that she also became one of the gopis. She was also part of the ras.
However, after facing intense public backlash, Sadhguru said that he was sorry if anyone was genuinely hurt over his comments on Bhagwan Krishna and Yashoda. However, he also went on to explain what he meant by his rather controversial statement. He said, "Krishna is love. He is the very embodiment of love. There is no other way to be with him than to be in love."
Initially, though she was there as a mother, after some time she becomes her lover.
Sadhguru justified himself by remarking,
Their idea of lover means going to bed with somebody. They don't understand that Krishna is love. There is nobody who cannot be his lover. Everybody can be there only as his lover, no other way. Unfortunately, their idea of a lover is sexuality and they're feeling offended about it.
Sadhguru and his brand have grown beyond the Indian borders. He shares the stage with woke left personalities like Trevor Noah. Thus, the godman in him is attempting to recalibrate the brand by preaching secularism. Sadhguru's followers on social media platforms are doing all sorts of mental gymnastics to justify his harakiri statements, and that is all one needs to know about his cult. Hindus will reclaim their mandirs. End of discussion, period.